agrees with today's alarming assessment of the situation of UNRWA. This essentially is an unprecedented crisis caused by Israel's persistent efforts to destroy this unique UN body, which over almost 80 years has been providing comprehensive assistance to Palestinians in the occupied Palestinian territories as well as in neighboring Arab countries, that is Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. The implementation of UNRWA's mandate remains the key to continued international efforts to find a solution to one of the aspects of final status, the fundamental right of return of Palestinian refugees. UNRWA staff continue to conscientiously implement their mandate in extremely perilous and often inhumane conditions. We pay tribute to the high price the UN has paid in Gaza and commemorate the humanitarian workers who have died in Gaza. We are equally concerned about the anti-UNRWA campaign of Israel in the West Bank, where UNRWA staff are being demonized and infrastructure is being flat out destroyed. We categorically reject damaging and incendiary efforts by West Jerusalem to tarnish the agency's reputation, eliminating its human and organizational resources. Israel, as the occupying power, is obliged to assist the population of the occupied territory. National security considerations cannot justify the non-implementation of IHL obligations. The legal assessment of Israel's actions with regard to Palestinian lands is laid out in detail in the advisory opinion of the ICJ of 2025. This document also highlights the need for respecting the mandate and status of UNRWA. We are firmly convinced that the activities of the agency have a stabilizing effect for the entire region. We welcome the decision of a number of countries to take on additional financial obligations with regard to UNRWA. For our part, for many years, we have faithfully upheld our existing obligations. At the beginning of this year, we once again contributed $2 million to UNRWA's budget. In the context of today's event, as well as given the fact that the work of the Board of Peace is clearly foundering, we must recall the well-known Russian initiative, which aims to resolve the acute problems faced by Gaza. In January of this year, our leadership publicly announced they were willing to send $1 billion to the Board of Peace Fund for rebuilding Gaza out of frozen Russian assets. President, in closing, I would like to once again call for a lasting ceasefire in Gaza, without which it is impossible to ensure full-fledged humanitarian access. Israel and Palestine ought to exist in peace and security and 67 borders. Thank you.
I thank Secretary General Guterres for his statement and Commissioner General ad interim Saunders for his briefing. For more than 70 years, pursuant to mandates given by General Assembly resolutions, UNRWA has provided relief to Palestine refugees in the West Bank, Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and elsewhere, playing an important role in alleviating the suffering of refugees and maintaining regional stability. In particular, following the outbreak of the conflict in Gaza, UNRWA personnel risked their lives to serve as the last lifeline for more than 2 million people, with more than 390 UNRWA personnel paying the ultimate price. China highly commends UNRWA for its contributions, pays high tribute to UNRWA personnel and their families, and will continue to firmly support UNRWA's work. For some time now, UNRWA has been subjected to continuous attacks and pushbacks. Ensuring the normal functioning of UNRWA concerns the survival and well-being of more than 5 million refugees, the defense of the authority of the United Nations and multilateralism, and the preservation of prospects for resolving the Palestinian question. China firmly opposes any efforts to undermine UNRWA, calls on all parties to provide the necessary facilitation and support for its humanitarian assistance operations, and urges Israel to effectively safeguard UNRWA's privileges, immunities, and normal functioning. Funding shortages have severely constrained UNRWA's capacity to provide assistance. The international community, especially traditional donors, should increase support for UNRWA and help it overcome its financial crisis. President, China firmly supports the just cause of the Palestinian people in restoring their legitimate national rights. We have long provided humanitarian and development assistance to Palestine, and have consistently provided and will continue to provide stable financial support to UNRWA. In December last year, President Xi Jinping of China announced that China would provide $100 million in assistance to Palestine to help alleviate the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and support Gaza's recovery and reconstruction. China stands ready to work with the international community to support UNRWA in fulfilling its mandate, promote a lasting ceasefire in Gaza, ease the humanitarian crisis, advance the implementation of the two-state solution, and realize a comprehensive, just, and lasting settlement of the Palestinian question at an early date. Thank you, President.